Good morning. My name is Cindy. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. And this is my my morning car ride into work. So I am a mom of 13. Yep, 13 kids, and say mom and dad, all that stuff. So I am headed off to school and I'm in the car alone. So yeah, this is how I drive to school each day now, because my the youngest two, are in school, but they drive themselves in. So it's a little weird. Last 2 years, I drove my grandson to the same school. I would pick him up on the way to school and drive him in, but he's going to a different school now. And I teach at a private Christian school. And this morning, we are in New Hampshire. We are very cold. It is 35 degrees. Now, a few days ago, we had some snow, and I reported that on this morning chat. In my area, we had a couple inches of snow, and I can see a little bit of snow still on the ground where there's some little piles. But for the most part, it has gone. It has melted because yesterday we had rain. We had a lot of rain. It was predicted yesterday that we'd get a lot of rain and a lot of wind, and we did, but I got 58 on my car temperature, but it was more like in the later evening when it was pouring down rain. So it did get warm, but just for a little while, and now it's back to cold. So it is 35 degrees today, and it feels very cold, and I guess it's winter. So we're in winter, and I'm on my way to school, and I'd like to do these morning chats just to share the beautiful morning that I am driving into. And this morning it is cold, but the sky is blue. It's clear skies. Looks really good. And I am really tired this morning. I did not want to get up because last night was my son's birthday, and I have a short video on this channel of him roller skating. So we have gone roller skating at this one place. It's about 40 minutes from my house, and we went roller skating for his birthday. And the year before, so it would be 2019 birthday, which would be 5 years ago. So he must have been 12. We had a party there, and everybody at his school came. It was really fun, and we had the greatest time. And then in March, we had the complete shutdown. We left that school, never to return again, which was very sad. He had a lot of good friends in that class, and they loved each other. The boys and girls, they all just got along really well. And then when we had the COVID in March, we all went home and did remote learning, and as a family, we never went back to that school, which is kind of sad because that class was really fun. They were really great kids. But since then, hello, thanks for coming by. I am doing my morning car chat today. And if you are new to my channel and you would subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I am 13 subscribers away from 1,000. And I know I need watch time, but that's why I'm trying to come on every single day. Maybe I'll get some watch time. But I am trying to go for the 1,000 subscribers, even though I know I won't get monetized until I get the watch hours. I'm working on that too. But in the meantime, I just wanted to talk about, we went roller skating last night, and I went with my son. My youngest boy just turned 17. And I have 13 kids, so my youngest boy just turned 17. So I just kind of wanted to chat a little bit about what it's like after you realize, okay, I have no more little kids to have to watch, and I'm still feeling pretty good. So yeah, I went first time putting skates on in 25 years. Like we went ice skating, and it was pretty crazy because I hadn't done anything like that in like 25 years. I put on some skates and it was really fun. And so we went roller skating in 2019. Everything was shut down in 2020. So then we went again once everything went back to normal, sort of. And so this one place has been a tradition for my son to go when we can for his birthday. So we went, I think it was last year I went, and I put on the rollerblades because they have rollerblades and regular roller skates. And my grandson was with me, and he came up behind me and he pulled on my arm, and I went down and I bumped my head really, really hard. So I knew I was okay because I didn't get knocked out or anything, but boy, my head hit that floor so hard. Could have cracked my head open. So I I just kind of laid there quietly for a minute and I said, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And then I just took a couple minutes. They cleared the floor and waited for me to get up, and that was it for the rest of the night. So then last night I got into the skating place, and I didn't get the rollerblades. I got the regular ice roller skates. And I sat there for like an hour watching everybody skate. And I said, I've got to try to do this. So I wanted to try to do this, and I did it last night. So I was able to roller skate for, I don't know how long it was, at least a half hour, maybe 45 minutes. I just skated around. And at first I was really nervous. I was afraid I was going to fall, but I didn't. So I'm really glad that I still can do things. And my youngest is 17. So life is very different. I kind of miss watching my kids, do all of their things. This one place that's near my house, it's $1 to get in on Wednesday nights and $3 if you want to rent skates. So for $4 each, we had a fun night. And we had pizza, and they have pizza. It's a really great place. And so that was really fun. That's on Wednesday nights, which Wednesday nights I'm usually busy, but that was our birthday party for my 17-year-old. And he said last night, he's like, we're going to come back here every time for my birthday. He wants to come back every year, even once he has his own family and everything else. So I thought that was really cool. They have everybody skates, and then they have time for different ages, like all the girls that are ages like 5 to 10 or whatever. And then they do the different age groups so everybody has a little chance to skate without interruptions from the speeding kids or the not so speeding kids. So they make it really fun, and it was a great night. But I didn't want to get up this morning. It was so hard to get up, but I did it. And so so in my life I have lots of kids, and we when I first had kids, I decided I would be the stay-at-home mom, and my husband had to go out and figure out how to support all of us. And then, he struggled to find his niche, as you might say. And so we just kind of kept plugging along, and we've done different things. We at one point he worked for a church, and the kids were able to go to school there. But when we left that position, we ended up homeschooling for, I think it was like 15 years. I haven't figured it out, but homeschooled for like 15 years. So I graduated 6 kids from homeschooling. And then when I had 7, I ended up going to a nearby Christian school to work. And when I taught school, my kids came to school for free. And it was a small school, and I called it Homeschool with Help because we were all there together. We would all get ready in the morning, pack our lunches, get everybody ready, head off to school, and go to our prospective classes. And it was really enjoyable. My kids loved it. They worked very hard and they did the academics. They made good friends. They played sports. And we were at that school for 3 years. And then I ended up moving to a different school, which was about 10 minutes down the road. And same thing, my kids, unfortunately, they had to switch schools. And it was very hard to do that in some ways. In other ways, it was good because we learned new things, we met new people. And when we were at that school, that's when we had the COVID shutdown. And the following year after that, I homeschooled for 1 year because I was like, I'm not going to go in and out of school and play this COVID. Oh, we got COVID. We don't have COVID stuff. I figured, why do I have to do that? Go somewhere and do that when I could just stay home and do homeschooling. And that's when I did a lot of teaching online. And then my boys that were home, they're like, we want to go to school. We don't want to have to do this type of homeschool. So we ended up, lots of traffic this morning. Usually there's no traffic on this road. We ended up finding a new school that needed a teacher in even 10 minutes further down the road than that one. And so that's where we've been ever since. And last night, some of my son's friends from that school came, and we had a great time. I mean, midweek is kind of hard to get people to come out midweek evening. It was 6 to 9, but it was a lot of fun. So that's where I teach now. I teach at a school. It's about 40 minutes from my house. I'm fortunate. I teach math. I teach 7th grade and up, and help with other types of duties that are necessary for junior high and high school. So I really like it. And so here we are on our way to school, and the morning drive is very good. The sun is shining, the skies are blue, the rain is gone. Now, yesterday, when I was driving back and forth to the skating place, the rain was terrible and it was so dark. It was like you could hardly see the road. So this is really nice. It was hard driving. We had to drive from the school to my house, which was about 40 minutes. Then we had to drive back to the skating place, which was another 40 minutes. But it all worked out. We're safe and we're going to school. And yeah, so I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to be able to teach. Now, teaching at a Christian school it's not like teaching at a regular private school. This Christian school is in a church, and they keep the costs down because it's a ministry to the people in the community. So it doesn't cost as much as a general private school, and it's not funded by like a charter school would be. So they keep the costs down, which also in turn means the teachers get paid a little less than they would out in the community at the public school and stuff like that. But to me, it's worth it because I have my kids there and we're there together. And I can also teach. Like, a lot of the public schools are very overrun with behavior problems and special needs problems and things like that, where we have a very small number of students. So our student to teacher ratio is much more reasonable. And we can actually teach and help students, and we get to know each other, and we have a good relationship. So it really works out well. The seniors, they do fundraising so that they can go on a senior trip. And one of the schools that went on a senior trip, they went to Jamaica. That was the school I went to before this one. And I was able to go on that one, which was kind of unusual because it's usually the principal, the certain teachers that they choose that go on the trips every year, and they know how to do it and they have it all figured out. But this one year, my son Ben, their class had raised money and they decided they wanted to do something really cool. And they wanted to go to Norway. So I put a bug in the pastor's ear. I said, wrote him a note, and I said, I would like to be considered to go on the senior trip next year. And so that carried me through. You know that saying, ask and you shall receive. So I just said, please consider me to go on the senior trip. I have a son that's going. I work here. I really want to go. They were going to go to Norway. Turned out they went to Jamaica. And it was a really fun trip. It was really awesome. We went there to help a church, and we also had some fun vacation time. So I have a video about that on my channel as well. That was a senior trip / missions trip. We helped a pastor there. He was a Jamaican man who grew up in Jamaica, and he did not tell us his testimony until it was the night before we were going back. He went around with us to all of the activities, whether it was a fun activity or a ministry or activity. We went to an orphanage, we went to nursing homes, we helped paint his church, we did all kinds of ministry things, and we also did some fun things too. And he came with us to a lot of that stuff. And then the night before we were going back to the States, he sat us down and we had a special meeting, and he told us his testimony, how he grew up in Jamaica and he was very poor. And he told us how he his mom, he had no father that lived in the home. He had several brothers and sisters, and they had nothing. So they would set up a little stand in the front yard, and they would sell whatever they could find. Like it was like a little convenience store, but they had to go find stuff to sell. They sold everything, he said, whatever they could find. So that's how they survived. That's how they were able to eat, was to just sell whatever they could find. So he said, we were always hungry. We were always in need. He said we were very poor. Our mother didn't really help us. And then one of his sisters grew up, and she was able to go out on her own. And so he ended up living with his sister, and then he got a job, and he decided, okay, I can work. I can either go to school, pay for school, or eat. I couldn't do both. So he decided he would just pay for his schooling, because in Jamaica, schooling was very important and you had to pay for it yourself. So he tried that, and he said, I couldn't survive without eating. He's like, I tried it. I kept fainting. I wasn't healthy. I couldn't keep working if I couldn't eat. So he had to quit school, and he was very depressed. And that's when he found the church that he was able to come to know the Lord, and he was able to grow in the Lord. And then he went to Bible school, and he ended up being a pastor. So, quite a long story, but a wonderful, wonderful person, humble and a very hard worker. And he had a nice church there. The most interesting thing was, we went to the church. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. We went to the church on the Sunday morning. We were only there for one Sunday. And we go in there, and turned out that there was a family there. The husband was from the church, the town where my church was, Danville, New Hampshire, which is a tiny town in New Hampshire. And he had moved to Jamaica because he was a telemarketer, and he was the manager of the telemarketing business there in Jamaica, because Jamaicans speak English, and that, they don't have to get paid as much as Americans. So it was, it was really unbelievable to meet somebody from New Hampshire. There was also another group that was working to build a house for a woman, because like over here, if you don't have a place to live, you get your kids taken away. Same thing happens there, but they have even less resources. So there was a church that came over to build a house for a lady so she wouldn't lose her child. And they were from New Hampshire too, or might have been uh, southern. It was either southern New Hampshire. I think it's southern New Hampshire. So they were really close by neighbors too. What are the odds? I don't know. But we worked for that church, and we helped them out. We painted. We actually went to a school they had, and it was really fun. It was great. We got to know some people pretty well. In order to get around on the island, we had to pay someone to drive us, to drive a bus. And they drive on the other side of the road, and their roads are windy. So sometimes they drive really fast, and they just press the button, the horn, to let people know they're coming. It's a little scary. I don't think you'd want to do it without help. So it was a really great time. It was better than going on a cruise, because you got to know the real island, not just the tourist part of it. We did end up going to a waterfall and did some swimming, snorkeling, things like that also. So thank you for coming to this channel. I really appreciate it. I am 13 subscribers away from 1,000, and I can't wait to get to 1,000. I'm really excited about it. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and give this video a thumbs up, please. I know that people kind of scroll on through. Give me a few minutes of your time so I can get those watch hours up, and I hope that you come back to my channel again soon. I've been doing these morning chats on the way to school, and just sharing about the weather. The sun is shining in my eyes, but that's a good thing. Right at this corner where I'm at right now, I have to keep the visor down, and I have to keep my eyes on the road, because that sun is really glaring right here. And this is a brand new interstate here that they put up. And it has 4 lanes where it used to have just 2, 4 on each side. Because southern New Hampshire is growing. We have more and more people moving to our state. We have the Live Free or Die state. That's our motto, live free or die. So according to, the powers that be, they say, whoever they are, they say that we have one of the freest states in the nation. I'm not exactly sure what that means. What that means, I don't know. But we have the Live Free or Die state. We do have a good state. We do have lots of things that are very expensive. Rent is really, really high in New Hampshire right now. We have property taxes are pretty high. If you want to own a home, that's pretty difficult right now. Real estate is pretty high right now. But we're free, I guess. So that's good. If you're my age and I've been a stay-at-home mom for like 30 years, and then I go into working, but I work for not very much money. And you can't live on just a little bit of money in New Hampshire, unfortunately. I don't know how people do it. You know, if you work at Dunkin's, you might get like Dunkin' Donuts is a coffee place, you might get $17 an hour. You can't live on that. So people that don't have a high paying salary job are going to need to get like three jobs to pay any kind of rent. Rent is like $1,500 to $2,000 a month just for like a two-bedroom apartment. People are starting to rent out a room in their home for like $800 or $1,000 a month just for that. So it's pretty rough to live in New Hampshire financially unless you have a really high paying job, and you've got to be creative, think outside the box on how to make it work in this state. But it is a beautiful state. We have the mountains, we have lakes, we have just beautiful scenery. We have the ocean. Like, I have some videos about the ocean. I go to the ocean in the morning sometimes to pray with my friends, and that is amazing. Gorgeous view. If you can get there in the morning when the sun's just coming up, it's beautiful. So we have a lot of beauty in New Hampshire, and I can see why people love it. I grew up here, and I've lived in a couple different places. I went to college, and I lived in other states for a few years, but came back to New Hampshire, been here ever since. So it's a beautiful state. And so thank you so much for coming to this channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Bye.